Hey everybody, it's DCsan coming back to you. This will be the SuperGirl Season 2 premiere review. So let's get right to it. I enjoyed this episode of Supergirl. There are a few things that left me feeling a little wanting, so to speak. So the relationship between Supergirl and Jimmy has been pretty much killed off. It's more of a friendship now than potential relationship with a romantic interest. But it is what it is. More than likely, they're doing that so she can be set up to date Mon-El. Spoiler for those who haven't watched. Spoiler alert. Just letting you know. For me, the character that has just shown up, judging from the clothing that he's wearing and from a few articles that we've read, he will more than likely be playing the character of Mon-El, who will probably be Supergirl's love interest, which will be kind of interesting to see how they play that out, especially since for those people that know the actor from a few other shows, they kind of have a mixed image of his character, because when he's on Vampire Diaries, he was pretty much the antagonist and was really good at it. But he also was on the previous short-lived TV show Contagion. So we'll see how that is. I'm interested to see what they do with the storyline. Them introducing Metallo to the series was a really interesting twist. Bound to happen eventually, but kind of nice that they put it in there. Them starting off with that, with a fairly heavy hitter, was interesting because they get to play around with Supergirl and Superman going up against him at the same time, or potentially going up against him at the same time. The tension between Clark and John was really interesting to see how they did that, because you have two very, very superpowered beings who have rapport with each other and have dealt with all kinds of crises together from, way back when up until now, and not really seeing eye to eye on the safety issue of mankind and Kryptonian life. Is interesting how they're playing around with that, because there are a lot of people that feel that Martian Manhunter by himself is a great character, but he's stronger with others, like in the Justice League, and in this case with Kara or with Kal-El. So we'll see how they do. But the two of them fighting each other, I could see later on in the series, especially if they introduce something like Red Kryptonite or anything of that nature, to see how Supergirl or Superman basically react to it, and then John has to try and subdue them, or try and team up with one of the other to kind of subdue the one that's been affected. That would be an interesting twist as well. As far as characters on this show, moving to a new base, which I think looks better. It's in a giant high-rise, which is interesting because it's like right out in the open. But I mean, it's fair. It does make set changes and set pieces a lot easier, so it cuts down on location costs while filming, so that can be used for other things like special effects. I will say that I like how they're playing the Superman. He's still that very friendly, go-to. What is it? I want to say it's like your boy next door. The way the old versions of Superman has been portrayed before. It's really interesting because it's something that I think we need, especially on television now, a lighter, softer version. Well, not necessarily softer, but a lighter version of Superman, as opposed to Man of Steel. Given I'm a huge fan of Man of Steel, but I also understand the gripes with him being a bit too dark. And if he is like that, it's not going to go well for an entire season. If it's within the storyline, possibly, but if he's constantly brooding and things, it does make the story and the series feel heavy. So I can see why they didn't go in that direction. And the way that they're playing it so far is pretty good. I like it. I like it. His cape is a bit interesting here on the shoulder pads. Actually, almost the same shape on the back of his cape as right here on my shoulders. It's interesting because it does look somewhat similar to Injustice, um, which is fine. Some people like it and some people don't. It would be interesting to see if they give them a an update or a separate suit later on in the series. That would be pretty cool, like in the Kryptonian Black and Silver. That would be pretty boss. But that's just me, personal favorite. I like the blue and the red, but it's nice to see a little variety also. Given we just got introduced to them, yes, I know, but it would be nice to see that kind of costume. So let me know what you guys think. What did you think of the episode? What did you like? What did you not like? What are you looking forward to? Them not having Lex Luthor there, but having his sister is also a good twist because it's not technically within Superman's hometown. It's in Kara, so it's nice to have a different version of a potential villain there. Is she really out to do good and change the name of and the view of LexCorp, or is she basically just putting up a ruse? What do you guys think? Me, I'm like Clark. At first, I have mixed feelings. Um, I felt bad for Jimmy basically being dumped before anything could actually get started, which is kind of awkward. Although it felt like that was going to happen, just because. But who do you think he's going to end up with if they have him with anyone? That would be interesting to see. Having everyone swooning over Superman when he shows up is kind of funny because what they played is like, I could kind of see that if he, landed anywhere. And, he's around people that do know him and people who know of him, from watching TV or in the newspapers or whatever. And then just like, shock and awe kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that. Hell, even I would be. And that's just funny. When the character Wen, how they're playing him on the show, is nice because you have that quirky geek kind of thing. Something I'm wondering, are they going to have Wen, Cisco, and Felicity team up together to do something during the crossover? That would be funny. Maybe they'll do the Fight Club 3.0 version and the three of them will get together to, program something for all the superheroes. That would be entertaining, so to speak. It's just thinking about it because one of my friends was asking me, hey, do you think Wen is like Felicity? And it's one of those, like, immediately I thought of Akasan. It's like, yeah, I don't think Akasan would, but I'm pretty sure he'd pick Wen over Felicity. Just because. And speaking of which, the last episode of Arrow was fantastic. The last episode of The Flash was great. And given those are the first episodes, but the last episodes, because last week, but tomorrow, it's on Flash. Oh, man, can't wait. So anyways, back to Supergirl. Crossover stories. What kind of crossover stories would you like to see this season between Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow? And let's not forget Legends of Tomorrow, which we will put up a video for the trailer soon. Promise. It'll happen before the end of the week, definitely. I'm looking forward to any crossover happening within the four shows because it's something they haven't done before, and I would just love to see one big story just spread out across all four properties. Man, that would be amazing, especially if, or since they're going to introduce like Justice Society as that nature, it'd be kind of cool if they gave a little hint at like a Justice League in an alternate future or something. That'd be pretty badass. Because I'd like to see who they cast as Wonder Woman or Wonder Girl or any of them. So let's see. I'm interested in seeing what they do with it. For Supergirl, villain-wise, Mattel is being introduced. I'm wondering what other character will they introduce later on this season. Who would you like to see? For myself, I kind of like to see Parasite and what version they would use. Like the version that they have in All Star Superman was really cool because it was very, very different from every other version we had seen before that. Um, Having him look almost like a giant worm or a parasite that would suck the life out of you, I thought was an interesting take. And it'd be interesting to see how they do that. Um, what other villain? Brainiac, I don't want to see yet. Maybe as a season finale or mid-season finale would be interesting, but not yet. Not yet. Need more time. Dark Side, not yet. Need more. I want them to fill out. Personally, I want them to fill out the story and the characters a little bit more before bringing in a character like that, because that's something you would use for a crossover. Not just joking. And of course, my force band is going off again. Thank you, Obi-Wan. So yeah, completely non-related. My watch is buzzing, and I'm trying to get it to go off. Go ahead, collect your holocron and get it over with. There we go. So, as we wrap up, I'd like to say thanks for tuning in. I really enjoyed the show. The special effects have been great. The chemistry between the characters has been really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the characters' storylines fill out individually and as a group throughout this season. Superman being there for more than an episode, I think, is a really good idea. Gives people a chance to warm up to the idea of the television Superman coming back, given it's a different actor, which is fine. But also gives the show a little more heft to it, so they can kind of up the ante and the scale for catastrophes. Unfortunately, because that's what happens. But it gives them a chance to play around with things a little bit more. And also having John there, they can kind of use John and or Superman to back Kara up when she needs it, and having that dynamic going on, I think, was pretty cool. Also, before I forget, having Kara's sister basically do all her fight scenes and things and have it in a more raw version compared to last season, I thought was really cool. They're upping it. They're getting better at it, and I'm liking where they're going. So keep it up, you guys. I like what you're doing, CW. Well, to all my fans out there, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please leave your questions and comments down at the bottom. Question of the video: who would you like to see come on the show later for villain? And if there's a collaboration with another hero, who would you like to see within this season? Well, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Keep it super.